So last week, Barack Obama, former president of the United States, had some kind of call with supporters or big-time Democrats or criminals yet to be incarcerated, as I like to refer to them. But these are all people that were big supporters of his, and he's now trying to push toward the Joe Biden for president campaign. And they discussed a lot of issues. Well, of course, this phone call got leaked. Now, I am 100% certain everybody knew this call was going to get leaked when it started. I don't think this was like one of those White House leaks or like the whistleblower for the Ukraine memo. I'm pretty sure this was an organized leak because everything that got leaked was all the important stuff that, Barack Obama and Joe Biden would probably want people to hear. And the first was not about the coronavirus necessarily, but about the Donald Trump way of governing and, most importantly, campaigning. And as you can imagine, Barack Obama, not a big fan.
What we're going to be battling is not just a particular individual or a political party, but what we're fighting against is these long-term trends in which being selfish, being tribal, being divided, and seeing others as an enemy, that has become a stronger impulse in American life.
This is from a guy who race baited for 8 years from the biggest bully pulpit in the world, the White House. He consistently tried to divide the races for his own benefit. And the problem with that is that when you divide people like that, you actually have to pick a side and help them. The only problem is he never actually did that. He just divided them and then ignored everybody, made everyone's lives worse. The next thing he starts to criticize is the coronavirus task force and Donald Trump's reaction to this crisis. Listen to what he said.
It would have been bad even with the best of governments. It has been an absolute chaotic disaster.
Is he talking about Obamacare or is he talking about coronavirus? Because I seem to remember that website crashing. I seem to remember people not being able to get health care. I seem to remember them fudging the numbers, lying about the number of enrollees to try to boost support.
It's part of the reason why the response to this global crisis has been so anemic and spotty.
The response to this global crisis has been anemic and spotty? Really? That is so bizarre because I don't hear anyone other than Barack Obama telling Democratic supporters and, of course, various members of the media that the response has been anemic and spotty. In fact, here in Florida, we hear from our mayor almost all the time that we have new testing facilities opening up. Today, we're getting antibody testing. Today, we're getting mobile testing. The federal government was able to mobilize not one, but two massively large hospital ships and get them to New York, get them to where they needed to be, to the point where the governor said what the federal government did was incredible. And if you doubt me, just watch that ad that CNN hates. Gavin Newsom said the president and the federal government made promises and kept promises. I mean, the fact that you got so many people to risk their jobs, their careers, their financial livelihood, just to stay home and save a bunch of other people who potentially could have succumbed to this deadly disease, you got the entire country. I mean, think about that. And here's this guy who failed as a president for 8 years getting on the phone and saying, not only does Donald Trump sow hatred and divide and tribalism in the United States of America, but his response to this has been anemic and spotty. We don't even have 100,000 deaths from a disease that they were initially saying would kill 2.5 million Americans. In a Barack Obama presidency, what you would have seen is 100% full-on government control. You would have seen martial law. You would have seen more executive orders than we've seen at any time in history. Every single one of our rights immediately, just like that, he would have taken them away. Now, Barack Obama is back, and he's there to tell you, and he's there to tell Democrats, and he's there to tell America that, hey, I can't run again. I can't run again. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to help somebody else.
That's why I, by the way, am going to be spending as much time as necessary and campaigning as hard as I can for Joe Biden.
Man, I'll tell you what, brother, you better clear your schedule because he's going to need all the time you got and more if he even wants to get close to 270 electoral votes come November.